What's up guys, welcome to my channel for new battle report. So this is the first game of the BL5 number 5 tournament I just came back from. It was last weekend near Geneva. I had a blast. It was an amazing event. I mean, high quality attendance. We were a couple of teams from France, a couple of teams from abroad also. We had a lot of Swiss teams, a Belgian team and an Italian team as well, plus a couple of Italian also in another team. So it was really nice to see this mix of different people coming in, and a lot of them playing on a quite competitive level. So this was going to be very exciting. For the first round, we got a French team called Resistant. This is a team near Paris. We know most of them. They are tournament regular, and I'm facing Let, who is a Dread Elf player. So these were pairing matrix. We did 2 of them because we had one scenario, secondary objective, which was Old Ground, and second was what Breakthrough. And we knew this before because we knew the draw before the tournament. So we just made sure that we have one matrix because Old Ground is so different from Breakthrough. We wanted to know if we have significant differences, basically, to have our pairing strategy. And we saw straight away that, for our drawn old player, definitely playing on Old Ground was not a good option, so we decided to keep him in hand. And then we sent me because I had some good greens where I could push and make some good points. Also, Dread Elf were slightly better than a yellow. I think I was a bit pessimistic also, since I wasn't too aware. I didn't play that much against Dread Elves, so I think I also lacked a bit of confidence because of lack of training to really know better the matchup, to see that it's clearly a positive matchup for me. So yeah, it was, I think, the right choice. We sent me, they gave me Dread Elf plus I don't remember who else, should have been EOS. Yeah, EOS. So for me it was the right pick to pick Dread Elves, and I gave EOS to my drawn old friend. And then regarding our opponent, so basically they had that left, so they avoided the Saurian Ancient against Vampire, which makes sense, and they put Saurian Ancient against Demon Legion on the Hold Ground, which is definitely something interesting because they have the King Star plus Temple Guard, so a lot of bricks against an MSU or Demon. And they put our VC on Breakthrough against a UD. They have very similar armies, so this was also going to be interesting. So we didn't do a huge difference on the matrix. Maybe here, like I said, a slight green. But other than that, it was quite tight after the pairing process. So we knew we need to make some difference at the table because we wanted to win the first one and start well the tournament. So this is again my list. You should know it already. And this is my opponent's list. So he's playing Master Cosmo, and then the rest of his magic is the Warlock Acolyte, who is a champion. He has the Dread Prince as a general, Death Cheater, Great Weapon, Blessed Inscription. A lot of people at the moment are playing this build. We see him a lot, so I wasn't surprised. Then he has a BSB, Apprentice Alchemy, MR2, Blade of Darag, 22 Silix and Spears with Flaming Standard, Musician Champion. 2-time auxiliaries. Yeah, they are such a strong choice in core, so I think you need to play them when you play Dread Elves at the moment. 8 Shadow Riders, 21 Obsidian Guard with Musician, 9 Acolytes to have a unit where you can put the Prince within to not get shot down, 2 Repeater Battery and 2 Hydra. So straightforward list. A couple of medium-sized infantry to be not too weak on secondary objective. Then he has a cavalry, solid cavalry unit, but not too expensive as well. As you can see in this list, the points are well divided. Basically, you have nothing over 500, which is something completely different than my list, where you have like 1,000 here, 1,500 in here, and a 600 in here. So it's another concept of list. We played Counter Trust on Old Ground, so this is an interesting combination because the one that win that lose the roll for side can put the first drop and basically push further away from the center the opponent, which is nice. Spell selection, so yeah, that's something that I picked, I think, in all my games of the tournament, is Smite, Hereditary, Rod of Battle, because this is something I ensure that I have as much combat buff as I can. And then to have range damage, I have either Trial of Face or End of Even most of the time. Wrath of God is usually picked as well, and then I have also Chilling. So Smite can be useful from distance since I have a couple of shots from Mercenaries. So I have enough things to cast from distance with this 4 spell, and then as soon as there is close combat, I can always mix between Smite, Hereditary, and Rod. So this was for me, yeah, a very good magical setup. Loved it. My opponent, I don't have all the detail, but he picked obviously Twisted Effigy, which is very good against mercenaries, Hereditary. He had Ice and Fire, +2, weapon skill, Perception of Strength, and also Quicksilver Lash. Matchup analysis. So yeah, I knew that it could cause me some problems on flank, especially thinking about Hydra against Prince. Regarding old ground, I think I have a huge advantage because I have a big unit, very solid, lot of health point, hard to fight. So I think old ground is in my favor, but then the rest, yeah, he has more shooting than me. He can move well on flanks, so I knew I needed to pay attention. Hard for the DE to push me against my block, I think, especially under the freezing aura. The Frosty, there is not a lot of games where I need to keep the Frosty near the mercenaries or tribesmen for the aura, but in games against fighty elves, definitely it's something I need to do. Careful about the Prince, his option. I think that was the main threat for me. I should be careful about what he does, especially if he go threaten other unit than the unit where the Great Khan is. I think with the Great Khan unit, I'm not in danger at all because Great Khan can take him. He can be very lucky and kill me in one go, but it's not that likely. And if he doesn't, I can just kill him in return with Kagarai. Counter Trust all the ground, yeah, it's good to push back your opponent, so you're happy to have the first drop. And my estimation, like I said, I put a draw on paper with I put a commentary. It should be slide green on hold ground, but I think it's definitely a green. It's just a lack of knowledge of the matchup that forced me to be a bit more cautious on the estimation of the matchup. So we have the deployment. My opponent, I won the roll for side, so we have 2 impassable in here. We have here the zone of all the ground that I show with my we call that a pizza. Basically it's very helpful to play all the ground or secure target. I have a hill, there is a wall, field, and forest train. Basically I pick bottom because there is a good hill that I can use to hide or be on it and charge very far away, so I think that was the right choice. I was pretty happy with the map because this limits the way it can threaten my flanks, this protect me a little bit, so this was quite a kind of nice, because if you want really to threaten the flank, he has to take a lot of time to move around and might take too long and just weaken his starting line. And then he decided to put the force drop in the center to push me back, which makes sense. I put then some bruiser to push back his right flank. I thought between the hill on this side where I can be a threat even starting from further down, and this part of the map where I can push him back due to counter trust, I was feeling okay, because then it would diminish a little bit how he can be aggressive on this side by starting so far away. And then left flank, yeah, with the hill I could be a threat, and then he needs to give me chaff, and he hasn't so much chaff. Then his second drop, I think, were some auxiliaries here on the left to push me back on this side, which wasn't too annoying. And then I dropped my giant on the right to further establish control on this right part of the board. He put then something else, I don't remember what, maybe some auxiliaries. Then I put Tiger and he dropped the rest. So he has here Dark Rider that vanguarded, 2 Bolt Thrower, Hydra, Acolyte with the Dread Prince, Spears, Obsidian Guard, and then a block of auxiliaries with the Mage within, and second Hydra. And my counter deployment, so basically I decided to put some distance between mercenaries and his Acolyte because I figured out might be annoying for me, and then I put most of my striking force on this center left part of the board where my Tusker could be deployed behind the hill to gain some hard cover for first round. Something I try usually to do, and good player do that most of the time, is when you don't start the game, you try to minimize what the opponent might do with his turn 1 shooting. So I put myself outside of 24 for both. I don't remember, maybe that one, not so sure, but at least this one was outside of 24 and behind the hill. So if he wants to shoot me down, he needs to move forward, shoot me, hard cover is a problem. Then I put my tribesman block with Grisius, my Great Khan, 2 scoring darts. Yeah, it's all the ground, so you need to put your scoring in the middle. My Frosty was in between to be able to help with freezing aura. Then I have my Merkverts outside of the range. Even if he moved 5, he couldn't shoot me, so I was outside of 29. Wanted to minimize possible damage that he might do with shooting against my Mercs. And then, yeah, the rest, like I told you, Giant and Bruiser. He's turn 1. So you know that you did not a bad job with counter deployment, and that you are in a rather positive matchup when the opponent didn't move much after his turn 1. And that's what he did, just reposition to make sure I cannot escape his line of sight, and the rest he just moved Dark Rider back for the moment, move forward with the Archer and reposition slightly. That was it. Magic Face, he got a very high roll on 4 dice, Twisted Effigy on my Mercs, did a 20. I let that go, got +1 to hit on these guys. And then with shooting, on this guy, sorry, and with shooting he did 7 wounds to them. I passed 8 rollable panic check, and he did like nothing to them because yeah, movement long range, nothing he could do. My turn 1, and on the left here he was out of range basically. My turn 1, I move on the hill with them to force him to feed me chaff. If he doesn't, I can then charge from far away, rerollable. I move my Frosty a little bit to the side. I figured out I might be more annoying for him to be to the side, also as a support pieces to my Giant, because these 3 Bruiser were not anymore in a position to threaten him. I decided if I bring a second monster, I can be again in a control situation against Hydra. I didn't fancy too much my chances to have a 1 versus 1 combat between Giant and Hydra, so I decided to brawl my Frosty a bit to the side, a bit far away from him, but then threaten also with charges, turn check, and so on. Back the guy with 2 remaining, move forward with Merc, Desta as well, but still far away from the moment. I have time. Magic Face. I did D6 plus 1, D6 plus 1 on Acolyte, because if I look at this battle line, I'm not too scared by the monsters, not too scared by Obsidian Guard as well, because with Freezing Aura, I should strike before, so I should be fine if I charge, and I have more movement than him, so I should be okay. It was more the Acolyte. I figured out if they move fast and threaten a zone with so many bodies, you never know. They could be a bit annoying, they have the bigger charge range than me, so they were for me the main threat. So I decided to focus them. 7 hits, strength 2 did nothing, but then I got a Wrath of God in, and I put that in front of the more static unit to try to hurt this infantry. Mostly for me the main target were the Obsidian Guard, because if I can reduce them from 21 to something more manageable, I could have a huge edge on this right part of the board, and that could be very hard for my opponent then to stop my advance, basically. His turn 2. So yeah, he needs to chaff me because I get some nice charge range, so he chaff me, move the shot forward, and is ready to shoot me. Then this Hydra continues to back off to make sure I cannot escape. Here you see my Wrath of God, decide to move back, move sideways, and so on. I could have placed it, I wanted to put it in a way that if he moves back, I still can hit him, pretty sure, and if he push forward, I can still hit him from behind. But I think considering my overall position, I could have put it slightly more back to make sure that I can maybe hurt him a bit more. I didn't want to put it close to the 2 bolter because you're not sure at all that you're going to get rid of them. And if you don't, basically you have used Wrath of God for nothing. I considered by killing some of the Obsidian Guard, it would be much more meaningful for the overall matchup, basically. So yeah, let's move on to Magic. This time I dispelled Twisted Effigy. I wanted to shoot with my Merc and didn't cast too high roll. He got Quicksilver Lash instead, did 2 wounds to my Tusk, which was okay. Wrath of God comes down, that was nice. I kill 4 auxiliaries, didn't roll that well for the range, but then I killed 10 Obsidian Guards, and this is huge. This is really changing the game for me. My turn 2, I took a long charge with my Frosty, double 6, third check to pass, 8 rollable, he passed it, and I just rolled below, I rolled 6, 5, 4, so I was close, but if I would have got in, I mean, there is a Mage Master in it, and a good scoring unit. I was out of line of sight of this, there is only 10 Obsidian Guard that can countercharge me. I think I was in a very, very good position, almost game breaking. I decided to charge as well them, because the position put me still quite far away from them, still on the hill. The Hydra, then a charge on the 9. I fancy my chances in 1-1, even with him charging me, so I was feeling okay. And then other than that, just put the scoring unit to claim the first point. And the rest, I remain pretty cautious at the moment. I wanted to shoot down some of them next to have established more control of the middle. But basically, I was feeling I'm getting some advantage towards the flank here, right flank. Taking all the ground seems in a good, seems to be in a good place, because it's very hard for his scoring unit to move forward, so I should be fine. So I was already looking at a small to medium win at this point of time, so I didn't want to take any extra risk that would put me in danger of losing, for example, the Great Khan. Magic Face, I got a Binding Scroll, Wrath of God this time, and then with my shooting, I killed 3 of the Acolyte, which was nice. Close combat, I killed them. His turn 3, he took a couple of charges. This Hydra charged me on a 9 Swift Stride. He failed that one. And then this one charged me on a 10. I knew that was a possibility. I was feeling okay with both. So he charged me. He failed that charge. And yeah, cast last turn, also chilling on the Bolt Roar. So he charged me on a 10 this time. He failed. I stand and shoot. I think I did nothing at him. But yeah, he failed that charge. Which is nice because it exposed him a lot. So I don't know exactly. I think he shouldn't have attempted that one because now he's in huge danger of getting double counter charge basically. And he as well, I think he's out of position, can be charged by many things. And this is getting very dangerous for him. So I was quite happy he tried to do them. In the magic phase, I dispelled Twisted Effigy because, again, my shots were very useful in this game. Ice and Fire, he did a couple of wounds to them. I failed my non-rollable with them. Panic check, I flee over these 2 units, past these 2 9 rollable. So I was okay if that was the only 9 rollable that I would fail during the tournament. I was happy to be a small unit that play a little role in the game. Basically, it slowed down my ability to come forward and chaff him and push. Okay, but it's not, it's not too bad. So I just fled over and ended up here. What else? Let me check. Shooting, he did 1 wound to the Tusker. Yeah, chilling, that helps to protect them. And Frost Mammoth, he did also 1 wound to him. I took 1 from stand and shoot last round, so I have 2 wounds less. I have still 4 wounds left on me. My turn 3, and here goes the action. So I double charge here, 6 Swift Stride and 6 not Swift Stride. I get both in with Overrun Pass against Auxiliaries. Obviously, last turn he moved his mage away in the Obsidian Guard. And here on the left, I charge with 3 Tusker against his Hydra. So I was feeling okay, I get the charge, I strike before him with Tusker plus impact hits. So I was feeling quite happy about that. And then since it was going so well on both flanks, I didn't feel the need to take any risk with Death Star and Mercenaries. I just put my chef in position to tell him, if you charge my Tusker, because I could get stuck. I mean, if he passes a lot of regen, if I don't kill him, he's likely to be steadfast because he will do at least 1 wound to me. So he's likely to be steadfast. So he could be steadfast and counter-charge me. But then I just want to make sure he cannot chaff me in any way because I'm still way back. And I can get an easy charge against him and just murder him completely. So I was feeling okay with here being a bit more patient. And also Mercverts, I didn't want to take any risk since the Frost was engaged. And with no aura, it's a bit tricky to engage them. I still had chaff left, so I just positioned my scoring unit to get second point. And my Mercverts in a position to continue shoot at the Acolyte. And I was feeling perfectly okay with that. In my magic phase, I got -1 resilience on this Hydra, which was very good for me because impact hits on 3 up, 1 rerollable. I rerolled 1. And then also Tusker going first on 4+, 3+, rerolling the 1s. I was feeling okay. Then I got D6+1 against Acolyte, kill only 1. With shooting, 16 shot poison, kill only another 1. So not much, expected a bit more. And then close combat here, I did 3 wounds, he did 2 to me, so he lost by 2. Fail his break check, non-rollable. He passed the panic check here, that was rollable. I overrun, I pursue him with both. Catch him with double 6 from the giant. He rolled a 10 on minimize, maximize because of the Frosty. And Frosty impacted the auxiliaries. So that was really nice. And left part, I think I didn't kill him with impact hit and attacks. I left him on 1 wound. Then he strikes, did like 2 wounds to me. And I strike with 2 great weapon and kill him. I get my overrun against them, out of line of sight of them. So there is only the BSB that strikes well, but the rest is auxiliaries. So, and I'm protecting from shooting since I will be in combat. So that was really nice for me. His turn 4, he just back off with the remaining cavalry to look at me in case I get stuck. And the rest just move carefully because, this model is likely to be free and charge him next turn. So that's going to be a problem for him. In his magic phase, I Binding Scroll +1 strength because I didn't want the BSB to get too many buffs. He got Twisted Effigy that, wasn't... Obviously, it's always a pain to lose the shots, but it wasn't priority for me to get those shots. I wanted to dispel the buff that he had. I dispel reroll to hit. and he got +2 weapon skill. That's the only buff that he got on this unit, which was okay. This unit, I just kill him, kill everybody, one-shot him, and post-combat pivot, so that was awesome. And then left part of the board, he strikes before me with the BSB, kill a model, so I have only one left. I strike against the BSB, leave him to 1 wound left. He failed his 2 ward save, but I wound only 2 times, unfortunately for me. And then he failed his 8 rerollable break check, and I run him down. So yeah, a bit lucky here. My turn 4, Frosty, charge, Obsidian Guard, he fled, and then I redirect and charge against the spear, he fled as well, past the rest of the panic check. And I tried to get him on an 11, but I didn't get that, unfortunately. Move my giant back in the game to try to cause problem to the Obsidian Guard. My Tusker moved away, but I couldn't hide from shooting, so I just moved slightly away. Yeah, I was just looking that way, so I had no way to charge again this unit, unfortunately for me. And then I moved these guys forward, moved them slightly forward, but I didn't feel I needed to take any risk. Again, if you want to charge me middle distance, I can counter charge with Mercs. I was feeling okay, still have a chaff left. I could have, I think, at least with the Death Star, could have pushed slightly more. Maybe the Mercs as well. I think if you look at the line of sight, maybe there is a way I can just move 6 here out of line of sight, shoot him from a shorter distance. And also, I could have marched actually because I have Twisted Effigy on me. So I could have marched and move out of line of sight basically. And maybe add a bit more pressure for the rest of the game. But I just felt so much in control that I needed to take any risk. And basically leave it to him. If you want to push me, take risk, can do it. But at the moment I'm in total control and I have a huge point lead. So I don't need that much to take risk basically. So then what happens? I think I get something like chilling, doesn't get the Wrath of God off, and yeah, that's more. I have no shooting this turn. And as you can see, I got also a lot of shots on my 3 darts, but all of them are alive with 2 health points left. So I save a lot of health points because, yeah, I know that all points matter, so I try to play conservative with these units that are still worth a couple of points. His turn 5, so he uses the Acolyte to chaff Rock, the Frost Mammoth with 2 wounds remaining. Uses Death Cheater General to be in front of my Giant. He rally those guys, non-rerollable, rally those guys, non-rerollable, and reposition with the Bolt Thrower to shoot at me. But as you can see, I have chilling, I think, on. Magic Face, Dispel Twisted Effigy, because I want to shoot at the remaining Obsidian Guards. He did 2d6 strength 4 against my Frosty, did 1 wound only, so I'm still alive. Lucky me. And then Bolt Thrower shoot at a Tusker, but did only 1 wound, so I'm still alive. My turn, I charge with the Frosty, he passes his third check, fortunately for him. But yeah, I will see if he remains alive. I didn't pass my March check, but I move around to threaten the Obsidian Guard, move the Merc forward to shoot at him, move a March forward with my Death Star to get some points last turn. And I move away with my Tusker with 1 wound left to safety to save the points. My Magic Phase with 1, yeah, End of Even boosted, I kill 4 of them. Shooting, I kill another 5 of them. So there's only 2 left at this time. And then close combat, I just one-shot him before he strikes. So perfect for me. His turn 6, he charges me with the Dread Prince. I flee middle distance, doesn't catch me on the 7. Lucky me. And then the magic, he will just, and shooting, he will try to finish the last wound of the Tusker, but with hard cover, moving, long range, it's very hard. And with him, 2d6 strength 4 will finish off the Tusker, so that's the Frost Mammoth, so that's deserved. And then on my last turn, basically, I will eat this Bolt Thrower with the Death Star, eat the second one with the Giant, and shoot the 2 remaining Obsidian Guard, but not the Mage, with my mercenaries, and he will pass his 9 non-rerollable panic check, and we will end up like this. So I took everything except General, the Mage, and the Spears, and he took from me the Frosty, half of the Tusker, half of Tribesman, half of both darts of Bruisers, and I got all the ground, so it's 19-1. So we did a small mistake by counting the points. We wrote that down as a 18 because we didn't have much time left, so each of us counted the points. But at the end, it didn't matter because we capped this round, as you will see after. But yeah, still, it's better when you can't write the points, so this can happen. Positive matchup, even when not starting the game. I think I was slightly, too afraid of the matchup that I shouldn't have been. It was just a positive matchup for me and very hard for him to play me on all the ground, especially with this map with two impassable that are a bit in my favor, I felt. Safe approach in the middle, took open on the flank. In this case, if something bad happened, I still have plenty of resources in the middle and I'm still in control of what happened with secondary objective, making sure I can win the game, even if something turned out to be bad on the flanks. If I would have, for example, I was a bit lucky against his BSB unit with my Tusker that he failed his check. Obviously, he could have killed me as well on the next turn, and then I have to commit a bit more my Death Star to get some points, obviously, but I wasn't still in danger of losing the game on that. Couple of chances to win big. Frosty, obviously this where I roll to make. One time 12, one time 11 is not easy to make. My turn 4, like I said, I should have moved slightly more forward with both units to put more pressure and make sure maybe I can get the spear instead of a bolt thrower or something like that. I think I could have starting to charge turn 5 with the Death Star instead of turn 6 if I would have moved more forward turn 4 and then maybe eat also the spear to get some more points. But that's a detail. I mean, when you win 19, you can't ask for much more than that. And obviously winning on the flanks put me in a very good position to win big this game. What happened? So we won on the 4 table, basically, playing some good games. Here was very interesting the way my teammate uses the timeout with me. First game with the Dravenhold, he uses that straight away. I've told them before the game, if you're not 100% sure about the game plan, please use the timeout straight away because then we can discuss and make a solid deployment. And here that was a good case. They played breakthrough on Dawn Assault. The opponent dropped everything for first turn, so he just took a timeout. We did deployment together, see what was going to be the game plan, and then he was in a good starting position to have a good game. And the opponent tried some stuff. I think it went, just really well for Dravenhold, and he won 20. My table, you saw it, so it's 19, not 18. VC against UD, also timeout was very interesting because we were in a standoff position. So the game plan that I gave to my VC mate was try to be a bit more aggressive because it's breakthrough. If you stay where you are, if you don't start the game, you will never get to his zone. So you have to make sure that the combat happen in his zone or close to his deployment zone. Other than that, you will never break through. Basically on, undead against undead, not moving that fast forward might be a big problem. So I told him, if you can, drop for first turn, push forward, and then we see what happens. And he did exactly that, took the timeout at the good point where there was a standoff, like turn 2. And I told him, you just put, that was also my main theory before the game, you have just more resources than him on paper. So you just sacrifice 1 unit of gas that you push in the middle of the board. You need to charge that, use the flaming banner, and after that, there is no flaming banner anymore, and you have still a lot of resources to take him down. And that's exactly what happened, so he was able to win big. So quite happy about that. And last game was also interesting timeout because they were in a position where it was Shizu's turn to play, and he had a couple of medium charges to the center where the opponent put his Kingstar with no buffs on, and it was either we go for it and we try to win all the ground, or we don't go for it, and basically we know that we're going to lose secondary, and also that we can never have such a good situation to engage. So there is no way we're going to engage later because that was the best situation we could expect. So we decided to go for it. Before that, we checked how we could maximize the charge, couple of details, and how we could stop the possible counter charge. There was actually only one counter charge that was a bit, I was a bit afraid of, was the Temple Guard. So I ensured with him that he was able to make sure that he can chaff that to avoid the counter charge, and other than that, I think it was going to be fine. So it was also very interesting because this was really a pivotal moment where the call has to be made. Do we want to take an additional risk? And I knew, based on the matrix, that we were quite close to a draw. I had a small win at this point of time when he took. It was still pretty early in the games, meaning we had no decision make on the EOS yellow, no decision make on the VC UD at this point of time, and I had a small advantage. So it was really the time where I felt we need to take risk here to try to force a win. And then the rest turned out to be quite good, but this wasn't expected at this point when we made the call, okay, we go for it. So very, very interesting for me to have this timeout with my teammate, because they did that at the perfect timing in their respective games. So it was interesting for me to spend that moment with them. Okay guys, that was everything for this first game. I hope you liked it, and talk to you soon for the second one. Bye bye.